Hey everyone, how's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, I got a Hyundai Santa Fe. It's a 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe. Customer's complaint is check engine light's flashing and it's not running right. So I got cars pulling in. Let's just see what's going on here. I ran a code scan on this. I actually have a brand new Snap-on Triton scanner that they let me borrow. They wanted me to try it out. I guess people are seeing my videos and they want me to try their stuff out. So they lent it to me to try this. And the thing I actually dig this scanner, most of it so far. Let me just show you real quick. Here's a code scan. P1326 knock signal range performance. That's the reason for that. What causes that? Probably overdue for an oil change. Probably low on oil. Probably lack of maintenance. Be willing to bet. People run them out of oil, then they have a problem. One thing I'm liking about this scanner is, you can see that, it's got a built-in scope. An actual scope, not just a graphing multimeter. And it's also got basically a component test where inside this scanner you can actually use the scope as a multimeter too if you wanted to. And it tells you how to test components on a vehicle. Like you want to know how to test a mass air meter for whatever reason, and it'll tell you what values are supposed to be there for this particular vehicle. And it'll tell you, you should have this, you should have this, you should have this, using this scanner. So pretty neat, actually. I'm kind of digging that. Not digging the price, but I'm digging it. But anyway, so back to this Hyundai. Let me show you something here real quick. Oil change sticker. I don't know if you can read that. It says 147,900. 152,666. All right, so right there, it's 5,000 miles overdue for an oil change. Okay, so let's go underneath the hood here. I already popped it open, got myself ready, and let's see what we got. This is probably just going to be a quick, short video, but it is what it is. All right, so there is El Dipstico. Not sure if there's somewhere I can prop you up. I doubt it. Okay, that'll work. Swipe the stick. Re-stick it. Okay, it's low, at least a quart, and that oil doesn't feel like oil anymore. It's kind of nasty. So what do we do now? Well, I'm not going to road test it, that's for sure. I think we're going to make a suggestion of let's change the oil. The damage is already done. That's the problem. The damage is already done at this point. So if it's got a rod knock, which that's what it picks up like rod knock and stuff like that. So if it's got a rod knock, not going to, changing oil is not going to fix anything. However, I've seen it to where you change the oil, you put in 1540 or 2050, and it can kind of prolong the inevitable. Basically, you're band-aiding the situation, and it can make it last a bit longer. This is going to need an engine. There's no two ways about it. Even though I don't hear any noise right now, I could just about guarantee it. I'm going to try to sell them an oil change first, and we're going to switch it to 1540, and then we're going to go from there. It does have a code for the evap system leak detected, very small leak. Usually that's a gas cap situation. But we're not even going to be concerned with that at this point. We want to see what happens with the engine. Now, this is a clean car. It's actually in nice shape. So, is it worth fixing? I don't know. let's change the oil first and see what happens. Usually my first go-to on something like this is going to 1540. If this thing had 200,000 miles, I'd probably change it to 2050. Now, some oils, some cars now actually take 0W8 oil. I mean, that's insanely thin oil. GM had all those problems with the 6.2 liter, and from what I understood, those took 0.8. Was that it? I'm not 100% on that now. I'm not going to quote that, but they called for a very thin oil. Could have been 0.16. But then they changed it and said, no, put a heavier oil in it because they're having so many engine failures. There was a bulletin about it and a whole bit. But I don't understand why these oils have to be so darn thin. I mean, to me, it makes no sense. I mean, if you look at the cars with long spans, like cars that go for an extreme distance, let's say Dodge Neons. I know you're going to laugh at that one, but I've had them go 300,000 miles with no issues. And, I used 1030 in those. 1030, 1040 when I got up around that high mileage. But the older Toyota Camrys, it lasted. I mean, they were, 530. Like, to me, 530 is about the thinnest I would ever want to go on a car. In all honesty. I hate putting in anything thinner than that. To me, it's too thin. It's too thin. Yes, it starts to flow faster. However, if you change your oil all the time, but like every, say, at least 3,000 to 5,000 miles is my recommendation. Change your oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, and you're using 530, is, like I said, the thinnest oil I would like to use on a car, then I don't see an issue. I never have seen an issue. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of going off on a tangent here. But let's see if we can get an oil change on this and go from there and see what they want to do. All right, so we're up underneath here, and I just wiped this down because it's got a little bit of an oil leak. I think it's a drain plug gasket. So let's drain out this oil, see what it actually has in it. Set you back here. Maybe set you down a little bit. All right. All right, so obviously it's got oil in it. It's pretty murky though. It's pretty dirty. All right, let me go see if we got a filter. I'm gonna shut you down while you do that. All right, so, and it's all drained out. Put the drain plug in. Give it a nice little tighten there. And I'm gonna move over here and grab this filter out of here. I don't know, you probably can't see it. How tight this thing's gonna be. Okay. Wasn't too bad. I'm gonna probably save this filter and cut it open. The filter weighs like 4 pounds. It was probably full of sludge. Now the filter, I don't know, oops, hitting that tripod. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's like right there is where it makes contact. You go about half to 3/4 of a turn. That's really all you got to do. You don't got to go any more than that. Okay, so we got the Shell Rapella 1540 that we're going to use in this vehicle. And this is a full container. I always leave these sitting on their side. This way I can get all the oil down to one end. And now I'm going to add a quart from an open container. Sometimes it's hard to read the side of these things. But I think that's close enough. We're going to check it anyway to be certain. All right. Now that's all good. Take this ball out. Make sure you put your oil cap on before you start it because you could make a huge mess otherwise. All right, let's start it up and take a listen. Got to let it down a little further. I can't get the door open. The bottom of the door hits the lift arm. See the lift arm there? It'll hit the lift arm if I try to open it on the other side. So I just had to let it down a little more. All right, the oil light went out almost immediately as soon as it started cranking. So, and it didn't sound bad. It didn't clatter all that bad. So I'm thinking this is a perfect candidate for what I just did. But I told the customer too, there's absolutely no guarantees, but we could start here and see what happens. All right. It is a touch overfilled. And if you've seen the videos with my Kia, that's absolutely fine. All right. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go get the scanner, hook it back up, and we are going to clear the codes and see if they stay off. Because if it's picking up noise, even like that, like it could be picking up something, the light will continue to flash and it'll continue to go into limp mode. So I cleared the codes. They went away. I started it up. It sounds fine. So I'm just going to take it up the road, see how it acts. Like I said, there's no guarantees to something like this, because usually when that code happens, the damage is already done. But I have seen this prolong the life. So I'm going to take it for a ride. Let's see what happens. All right, so I went around the block on a road test. It feels fine. I don't feel any issues. Obviously, I didn't like rev the snot out of it or anything, but it feels fine. I mean, I drove normally and everything's good. I did monitor misfires just out of curiosity. And as you can see here, there are no misfires at all. Because sometimes when you get a situation like that, you'll wind up with misfires because of the knock sensor retarding the timing so severely, and it can set misfire codes. So I was just curious just to see if it showed anything, and it didn't. But the car drives fine, so whatever the customer wants to do at this point, it's up to them. So yeah, okay. Well, that's going to end it. Basically, it boils down to check your oil. If you have a vehicle that uses oil, check it more often. It doesn't hurt to make it a habit of checking your oil, like say every Saturday or every Sunday or something like that, or whatever. But just make it a habit of doing it. And when you're due for an oil change, change your oil. Change your oil. I mean, this thing had the thing come up on the dashboard saying service overdue or whatever the heck it said, showing however many thousand miles overdue for a service. So there again, it basically boils down to maintenance. Don't blame the car. Blame the person that drives the car for not doing what they're supposed to do. That is, it might sound harsh, but seriously, check your oil. All right, that's it. I hope you got something out of that. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.